Okay guys, so now it's the right time to move to our server side in order to fetch the information from the server. So we're going to our PHP development environment and we will head directly to the access.php and we'll scroll right to the bottom. After delete pass, we'll write here a new protocol which will be responsible for fetching the details from the server related to the searched user. Okay, so we'll write here function, then it will be search users. This is the function with or just select users, open and close round brackets, then open curly brackets. And the round brackets make reference to the name. We'll search by the name. Then there must be ID of the current user who's searching, because we want to search everyone except current users. So then we got limit, then we got offset. So this is for the pagination, you know this already. Okay, so this function will select all users as per searching name except current user. Okay, great. So as usual, we need to create an array because the result will not be just a single line, it will be a lot of users. So I create a new variable which will be, I will name it just $symbol return equals to array, open and close round brackets and then semicolon. Here we are creating array to store all users fetched. Okay, great. So then we will declare an SQL command to be sent to the server. Okay, so I would like now to do this in the browser. So I'm going now to localhost, then my PHP. I'm going to FB and I'll write here the SQL. So for you it will be easier. So here I write select, then users.id. I want to select the ID of the user. Then I write users.email. Then I write user.firstname, comma, then users.lastname, comma, break, then users.birthday, comma, break, then users.gender, comma, break, then users.cover, comma, break, then users.ava, comma, break, then users.bio, comma, break, then users.date created, and select this all from users. And very important now, the conditional statement where users.id is not equals to current ID, which is, let's take any ID of any of my users. So I have the user which is, let's say, James. He has the ID of 14, which is, let's say, where the user ID is not equal 14 means to select everyone except James, and users.firstname like, then single quotation marks, then double percentage mark, and here we'll write, let's say, J, or users.lastname like, then single quotation marks, double percentage marks, and in this inside between percentage marks, so we put, let's say, A. And again we write and users.id is not equals to 14. Okay, so I'll execute this SQL statement. So he has selected James and Bob. Why James and Bob? Because here is one very interesting statement which called like. Like means select all the result which has anywhere in the first name the letter J, and select also anywhere in the last name where it has A. Okay, let's now put J in J, and then it will return only Joseph, the user which I have. So I'll just simply copy this and I will insert it in our PHP. I'll create a new variable which is SQL, and I will just simply insert it here. Okay, like this. Okay, great. So here the ID will make the reference to our variable, which is ID. Make sure here you're making double quotation marks, by the way. And here also 17 will replace with ID. Then J we will replace with the name. And here also we'll replace J with a name. So we have done two changes here. We replaced 14 in my case with the ID, or 17 with the ID variable, and the second one will replace J with the name variable. Great, so we haven't done yet. We now need to make here, we need to write limit will be limit variable, and offset will be offset variable. Put here, close it with the quotation marks like this. Okay, so this is the SQL statement to be executed. Okay, so then we keep going, then we write here statement will be equals to this, then arrow, con, an arrow, and prepare for the execution. Here will be SQL, the variable which we've created. Here we are preparing SQL command for execution. Okay, very good. So then we'll check it for the errors. If open and close round brackets, then open curly brackets. In the round brackets, write exclamation mark, which states for false. If statement is false, then throw new exception. In the round brackets, write statement equals to error. Okay, so this code will throw back all errors related to this statement. This is what you can forget. Remember, throws back all error messages. Okay, very good. So after that, we'll prepare the statement we'll execute the statement. Statement execute. Execute SQL command or request. And don't forget semicolon at the end. So okay, after we've executed this, we want to get the result. So I create a new variable, which is result equals to statement, then arrow, get results. So it will fetch all results of the statement or of the execution. Assign all results of execution to the result variable. Okay, and semicolon here. Okay, so then we will fetch one row one by one every row. So while, then open and close round brackets, then open curly brackets. And in the round bracket, we will write here, we'll create a new variable. Row will be equals to every fetched associated result. Result, then fetched underscore as sock, which state associated. So, okay, so this statement is executed, means this SQL command got executed by this line. Then we are getting all the result which this execution brought to us, and we are assigning all results in just one single variable, which is result. Now we were doing while loop, so means it will assign, it will just fetch every single row which stored in the result variable one by one. This is what we're doing now. And this row will assign to our functions variable, which is return. Okay, so here we'll write return, then open and close square bracket equals to row, and semicolon at the end. Okay, here we are writing get every single row of the fetched data and assign it to row, and further append every row to return array. Okay, and finally we're done, and we will return the function with the return array. Okay, very good, excellent. So this is the SQL command which is to be executed, and now we'll write a PHP protocol to run this command. So right click on your folder, project folder, create a new PHP file, and the name, I will name it friends.php, like here. Click finish. Okay, this file will be responsible for selecting all users from the server or accepting friendship request, or let's say deleting the friend, etc. and so on. Okay, so first step here will be we need now to establish the connection with the server. Okay, it will be the step number 1, establish connection. Here we are writing require means include, then open and close round brackets, and then in the single quotation marks refer to the secure, then access.php. Then let's create a new variable. Access will be equals to new. Okay, I create a new variable will be equals to new access. That is the one. Host will be in the single quotation marks. I'll write localhost. Then user will be root and the password is empty, and the name of the database will be FB, which is for Facebook. And then we'll establish the connection access equals to connect and then semicolon at the end. Okay, then step number 2, manipulate commands or execute commands. Okay, first one is search users. Okay, so here we'll write if then $symbol underscore request, then in the square brackets, then single quotation marks will be action, will be, let's say, equals to search, and we'll put this in the round brackets. So then we will search the users. So then definitely want to check if all the variables which must be received are passed or not. So if then round brackets, then open curly brackets and close it, and in the round brackets we put exclamation mark which states for false. We'll write is set. We'll check now if, let's say, if name is not set, then return. This is the logic we'll write. Dollar underscore request, then square brackets, then single quotation marks, we'll check first name. Then coming out once from the round bracket, then we put or, and again we check exclamation mark is set. Then in the round brackets we'll make a request to the ID. $symbol underscore request, then square brackets, then single quotation marks ID. Then we're coming out from the first round brackets. Then we check or exclamation mark is set. Then in the round brackets we'll write $symbol underscore request, then square brackets, then single quotation marks limit. Then coming out from the first round brackets we again continue writing or exclamation mark is set. Then in the round brackets $symbol underscore request, then open and close square brackets, and in the square brackets single quotation marks will refer to offset. So it means if none of these values has not been set, then means there is some error. So we want to return a status, return open and close square brackets, in the square brackets single quotation marks, and in the single quotation marks status will be equals to 400 in the single quotation marks, then semicolon at the end, and the same we're doing for the message. So return square brackets, then single quotation marks, we'll write message equals to single quotation marks, we'll write missing required information, and semicolon at the end. And we want to echo this, echo JSON underscore encode return value, and do not let it execute it further, we'll just write return semicolon at the end. Okay, very good. Here we are checking if the values have been passed or not to current file, to current PHP file. Okay, then if all the variables have been passed, we'll assign them to the PHP variables. $symbol name will be equals to HTML entities. Then in the round brackets we refer to the name. $symbol underscore request, in the square brackets in the single quotation marks we'll write name, semicolon at the end. The same we are doing for the ID. We make the variable ID, and the same we are doing for the limit. And the same we're doing for the offset. So this is secured way of receiving values or of accessing or casting values. Okay, after this, we will execute the command which is access arrow. Then we will access the function which we just wrote. Select users. Here will be name, ID, limit, and offset. Everything is ready. And semicolon at the end. Here, run function to select all users. And let's assign this to the variable which is users will be equals to the result of this execution. Okay, now we'll use the if statement to check have we got anything or not. If open and close round brackets, then open and close curly brackets. In the round brackets, we'll write if users, if we got something, else nothing has been gotten. Okay. Here, in the first case, we will, let's say, return all the users. Return, open and close square brackets, and round square brackets. Then in the single quotation marks, let's create the key users. We'll store all the users which we have got. Okay. And then in the else statement, we'll write return, open and close square brackets, and then the single quotation marks, we'll write status will be equals to 400 and then semicolon, and the same we're writing the message of the failure. Message will be equals to no users were found. Okay, very good. And at the end, we want to echo JSON underscore encoding return, and we want disconnected. Access equal arrow disconnect and semicolon at the end. Okay, so let's now test it. I'll write in my browser localhost and FB, then I'll write here friends.php. So undefined action, which is 15. Where is here? 15, here we go. Okay, so undefined action, which is 15. Let's send the action. Action will be search. Okay, missing required information. We must declare name, ID, limit, offset. We put and name will be equals to, let's say, J. And ID will be equals to 14. I think this was the ID of my user, which is James Bond. 14, yeah. And limit will be 100. And offset, which means skip, will be 0. Here we go. It returned us the information. Very good. So let's see how many users it returned. It returned only one, which is James. And if, let's say, we write BO, it will return us Bob. Very good. Okay, let's now write something which both of them are having. It can be J or just A. Both of them are having A in the first name and in the last name. So I'll return here A, and here we go. It returned Joseph and it returned Bob. So it works everything very well. In case if in your case if it could not retrieve anything, just pause the video and compare the code, or you can download the attached file. First, compare this code, and secondly, compare this protocol that it's reading correctly. So here we're done with writing the backend protocol for selecting the user. Good job, guys. Let's progress further.